All right, everybody, we are back finally, and welcome to Beyond the Court, episode number 40. Cannot believe it. Gotta say hello to my co-host, Leo Vasquez. Leo, what's up? Thank you so much for doing this. Seriously, thanks. It's a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people have always said we got to do more stuff together. I sent you a text. I said, "What do you think?" Here you are. What's going on, bud?
Hey, thanks for having me. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm super excited to be here tonight. When Suds gave me the call, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. You know, filling in for John Ellis. And so tonight, I figure a good tribute. Ellie, I don't know if you're watching tonight, but if you go back and watch it, I got one of the shirts, the One Love Summer Splat. So wore this tonight in honor of Ellie. We got a banging show tonight. I'm super excited. I'm so glad that, you and Scotty said, hey, look, let's do something just a little bit different, not too far off the cuff, but, we got two amazing guests tonight. And then we're going to bring in our own version of the hot topics in racquetball. We've got 10 topics. We had actually a whole lot more to choose from, and we're going to try to do this on every show. We'll see what the viewers like, but we picked 10 topics that we think are the hottest topics in racquetball tonight. We're going to get to those. But I'm super excited to be here. But I want to ask you because, you didn't get to go to World Singles and Doubles. We've seen you online, doing some training, some private, some the experiences. But what's going on with you and Vera? Where are you guys living at? I mean, update us and let us know what's going on with you.
Yeah, we're unfortunately we couldn't make it to Colorado. I know we're going to talk about that later. But right now we're in Florida, and it's pretty hot. I can tell you that. I don't know about the sun for me and the humidity, but it's a great place. It's a hotbed for racquetball. And see what I did there, Leo? Hotbed in a hot place. It's a hotbed for racquetball, no doubt. And so I'll be in the States a lot more. Cuenca, Ecuador is still like home, and not something that I'll ever leave. Nor will Veronica, obviously. But yeah, we're going to be here a lot more now in the States. And we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to being back, to be able to bring all this to everybody and staying active. And it's already been great. It's been really, really good feedback. There's a lot of people nationally that have reached out that want to get involved. It helped Kane and I with the experience, which obviously we'll talk about later too. So I won't get too deep into that. But, again, I just want to say thank you to you, Leo. Scotty Mac, of course, we're going to do our best to keep it at 60 minutes for sure. There's no doubt about that. We got two great guests, Gaby Martinez, Kane Waselenchuk. That's going to be a good one. So, before we get going and before we get too long-winded, Leo, I'm going to tell you right now, you go ahead and serve it up as the new co-host.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Everybody kind of knows me through doing the live streaming at USA Racquetball. And, for me, it's all the people that are logging in, throwing out the hearts, the likes. I see that people can do stars. So, Big Al, Amy says she loves the shirt. Big Al Schaff and D, Kane's mom, logging in. So we want to give, shout outs to everybody that logs in. But I want to get to the guests, and then I want to get to the hot 10 topics, because I think, like I said, tonight's going to be a banging show. I think we're pretty lucky to have, two of the people that we have. I mean, we have superstars all up and down in racquetball, but tonight, I know Kane's been on the show before, but, how could you ever, not want to listen to the greatest of all time and see what's going on in his life? But, I think if Scotty Mac is ready, I'd like to bring in the first guest.
I just want to say one thing, Leo, before we do that. Hey, to everybody paying attention, watching, it looks awesome out there. We see the love, Leo. I love that. I see the emoji, all the icons and stuff. Share it, all right? We're going to randomly give away a signed shirt from Rollout. I promise I'll get it in the mail this week. Share the feed. We'll pick somebody at random, whoever shares it. Leo, last time you and I worked together, we threw out something big. Remember that? We wanted 30 shares. And the racquetball family and community came together, and we got triple that. So share it, share the feed, get it out there. Let everybody know Beyond the Court's back. And, we're going to talk about real stuff. We're going to keep it real. It's not always great, and last thing before we get to Gabby, Leo, heart goes out to the 13 fallen Marines and armed force members that we lost over in Afghanistan. That just sucks. And, without the armed forces, we can't do this. So, to everybody serving or has served, Thank you. And to anyone thinking about it, thank you. So Leo, go ahead, man.
Thank you for taking that away. I want to hold you to the t-shirt though. Can it be Beware the Backhand? Can it be any shirt they want?
Whatever you want from the Sudsy Munchik rollout line. You got it.
Okay. So all they have to do is share it.
Share it. Yep.
At the end of the feed, we'll go back and can we do 2?
You got it. Yeah, we'll do 2. How about that?
Let's do 2. But condition is if you win the shirt, you do have to come back and post on social media, tag the athlete page that we did give out the shirt. Because people always wonder who won the shirt, who won the shirt. So we want to know who won the shirt. So all right, 2 shirts and a share. How's that?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Show notes. I got my show notes. This big show tonight for me. So our next guest is the reigning world singles LPRT champion. This player won her first ever, and I'm sure, so do you know how that felt? And all you other pros out there, even if you're not a pro, even when you won your first tournament, what it felt like. And tonight we have Gabby Martinez on Beyond the Court, and she is going to share hopefully some experiences and how she felt after she won her first major LPRT tournament. And I think Scotty Mac, do we have a clip that we can play before we bring her in?
There it is. You think she won?
Feelings in your career right there, Leo. It's such a good feeling, man. And nobody can ever take that away. That's forever right there. What's up, H? My buddy in Overland Park, sitting with Randy.
Let's go ahead and bring her in, Gabby Martinez. Gabby, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you listen to me?
Hi, Gabby.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Court. We're so happy to have you. How are you? Tell us, how are you doing? How you feeling?
Oh, feeling great. It's awesome to be back home for a little while after competing again, and always getting prepared for what's next.
Did you get a chance to see the clip that we showed right before the show that showed the match point of you winning the tournament?
Oh no, I
No?
can see it. Yeah.
So, Scotty, can you play it again?
There it is. You think she won?
That's pretty damn cool right there.
I can.
Yeah.
You can only see it if you're watching the broadcast and not on our Zoom.
I was able.
Oh, did you see it?
I was able to see it. Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to ask you again, if you could just go back, what did it feel like? Tell us if you can go back in time. What were you feeling like? What were the emotions like? I mean, tell us.
I mean, winning is always a great experience. What I feel different from winning Worlds in 2018 and winning right now on LPRT stop is the difference. Back then, I was not training to win, and I still won. And right now, I'm training and working so hard to win that it feels so different when you win, because you were actually working for it. So it feels like it makes you feel more motivated and happy, and it's a different feeling, because when you don't train for it and you still get it, you feel like kind of over the other ones, because I didn't work as hard and I'm still beating them. So it's a different feeling. Really excited to what's coming next. I'm still working really hard, training and competing a lot, which it's different because I had to leave school for this part of the year and try to compete a lot more. Guatemala supports me a lot, so I'm able to go to a lot of tournaments and practice different things, compete against different people, and it's making me feel like really good as a player, as a person, as a team member. Also, seeing all my teammates coming up, which was something I always dreamed of. Even though it's an individual sport, like it was always Guatemala equals Gabby, and it was just Gabby. And right now they are working really hard and doing great things, having better results, and that's also motivating.
Talk about that, because that's a lot of pressure. You know, I know what it's like to represent your country internationally. And let's be quite honest, you know, representing the US, unfortunately, is nowhere near what it's like for all of you in Central and South America and Mexico, not just the financial backing you get and support, but expectations and medals. You know, I had a conversation today with somebody at the club how, you know, if you know you went out and won that pro stop, and here in the States, being a professional and winning like that is a huge accomplishment. But is it a little bit different? Like when Guatemala looks at it, you know, you go, let's say you go and compete and win the US Open, right? Or another LPRT event, which you will win more. You know, what are they really looking for? The international medals or those pro events?
No, they really don't care about the pro stop. Like they see the pro tour as part of my training for Worlds or for Pan Ams, or next year we have Central American and Caribbean, World Games, whatever. We can medal for Guatemala. That's what they care. Like they don't really, I don't know, they will not give me a prize money or anything for getting that, or a scholarship, nothing. They are just like happy for me to win that, and you know, that's part of the results of that makes them support us more and get more people every time going to the pro stops. But they don't really care. They just want me to win. For example, this year Worlds, they want me to medal in that tournament. And you know, even though I win the whole pro tour in a year, but I don't win a medal for Guatemala, like I still get they can quit my scholarship.
That's amazing. And when Gab, just so you know, Leo, and I know you got some here. When Gabby, when you say scholarship, what you mean is the financial support the country gives you.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Good, Leo.
Yeah, we only have Gabby for a couple more minutes. So there's a bunch of people in the chat making a lot of nice comments about how well you played. But when you got home, I saw you were on TV shows and there was all kinds of press. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like when you went home and you had to do all this? What did you do?
Well, I didn't do anything. Like really, after the Olympic Games, we had 2 or 3 athletes that did really good in Olympics. So many people start realizing that athletes are really important, and all the work we put on to do the things that we do. And so all these TV shows and media and all these things that they are looking for all athletes. What are they doing? What are they winning? Doesn't matter what are you participating in. So it was actually really cool because, as I said before, Guatemala really doesn't care about this. So like it is not only the government, but they don't really know how important it is for an athlete career to win a pro stop. So it was actually really cool to receive many messages from all these media, TV shows, newspapers, and all these things that, you know, it has never been like that. And I was really amazed, and it felt amazing.
Wasn't it fun? I mean, I saw you there. You were, you know, some of your people took pictures behind the scenes and they showed you there at the TV in the studio. Is that stuff kind of cool?
Yeah, it's cool. You know, yeah, you gotta be able to manage that too. I think it's just part of it. When you win, it's part of you. It has to become part of you.
You got Gab, you know, we've worked together many times and we have a personal relationship as well. One thing Leo Gab definitely knows how to do is she wins, whether she wins or loses, she does it like a professional. So I want to ask you this, Gab, and I think I've asked you this privately, but this will be fascinating to a lot of the people watching now. If you could only win a US Open title, or let's say an international world championship, which you have, or a Pan American gold medal, which would you rather?
The Panams.
That's
Panams.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, Leo, because, you ask a lot of us here in the States and we just think pro, and winning a US Open is just the pinnacle of our sport. But really internationally, these players get so much support, and something that's amazing for Gab is she has so much, not just, support outside of the money, but the support the country gives her to go be the best player, the best racquetball player she can be. And, we're seeing that every year. There's a reason there's only, I think it's one USA player in the top 10, Gab, now in the rankings, right? Rhonda? She's the
Maybe.
only.
She's not even in the top 10
Yeah,
now.
I don't think so anymore. Yeah.
So
She's
there are
C11 right now.
Wow. So yeah. So I know you're going to keep working hard, and that's the first of many. I got pretty emotional. Veronica and I had some watery eyes when we saw you doing that. We were speaking throughout that event. So what are you doing? How do you prepare now for the U.S. Open, which is next for you?
Well, I have different tournaments. Mexico they have like a national league, so they do a lot of tournaments, and Mexico is really close to us, so it's easy to travel there. So I'm going to a tournament there, and maybe bringing some other players to train with in a couple weeks, and then leaving to the US Open, training hard, and always putting the effort in.
Well, Gabby, we're trying to keep our show under an hour for everybody, but I could talk to you for the whole hour, actually. But
Same.
Before I let you go, I can't let you go, and I know our timekeeper is going to probably be honest, but I want to let everybody know how awesome your butter, the almond, and the cashew butter. Can you really quick tell us about your business that you have going on with the butters?
Oh yeah, that's just an idea. It started during the pandemic thing, and we're all staying in home, and I just started doing it for me, for my cousin she's my nutritionist, and she's CrossFitter. So I was kind of doing it for me and the people I know, and it started growing and growing. And so I was like, hey, I'm gonna sell it, because it's easier to give the same price to everyone and just doing it in a bigger amount. So after that, I'm doing really well on that business. Doesn't take that much time. It's it goes with my lifestyle, healthy, fit, sports, and it goes with nutrition, and it's a really good food. It's natural, it's vegan, and it tastes amazing.
I love it.
Hey, yeah, make sure you bring a few bottles of that stuff, for Veronica and I. And Gab, before I let Leo let you go, because he's kind of in charge here tonight, I won't tell everybody about our ice cream eating when we're together then, all right?
Yeah.
We'll keep that. We won't talk about that. Let's keep it on the healthy.
That's the next episode.
Gab, thank you. Leo, Gab, it's so awesome to always see you, and we stay in touch and we talk all the time, but we'll talk soon, Leo.
Thank you, Gabby. Thanks for coming in tonight, and all the best to you. And we can't wait to see you at the U.S. Open.
Thank you guys for everything. See you soon.
All right. Good night. There she is, everybody. Gaby Martinez.
Bye, Anna.
The champ. We're going from one champ to another. Are we going to do a commercial or an intro for Kane, or are we going to go right in?
I think, Scotty Mack said he's going to take a 60-second break before we bring Kane in. Is that accurate, Scotty? Okay, let's do it.
Okay,
let's do.
All right, we'll take a 60-second break, and we'll be right back with what some consider the greatest of all time, Kane Waselenchuk, coming up next. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Court. I'm joined with Sudsy Monchik and our special guest number 2, what some call the greatest player of all time, Kane Waselenchuk. Kane, welcome back to Beyond the Court.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a while, huh, boys?
Well, it's my first time to be with you.
Well, but remember, me and you did something years ago, me and you, Leo. So when you were doing, your little podcast, be way long time ago, we did one. So it's been a while.
Yeah, we did. It's great to be back tonight. Suds?
Yeah, Kane, we speak every day often. We're super busy. We're very busy together as we, set out on our ventures and our journeys at this point in our careers. So it's been nothing but a pleasure. And Leo, I don't think you have to say what some say the greatest player to ever play anymore. I mean, when the greats of the game say the greatest ever, it kind of takes it to another level.
Yeah, I agree. Well, listen, we got to, how can you argue that? You can't argue those words. But we got a great show tonight. We had Gaby Martinez on earlier. We've got Kane on tonight. And Kane, we just wanted to get you on the show, catch up with you. We didn't get to see you at the World Singles and Doubles in Denver. Mm-hmm. Some people wanted to know, since you weren't there, because when you are there, you're very accessible. You're there. People come up and talk to you. So a lot of people came up and were asking, where's Kane? What's Kane doing? What's going on? So catch us up and let us know what's happening.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, a lot has happened in the last 17, 18 months, obviously. And, with racquetball kind of taking a back seat, there's a lot of other things that you actually have to focus on and things that are more in your control. And so, I hadn't really been playing. I mean, obviously in January I didn't play, and then this one was a little bit of a different reason. And I don't want to bring a bunch of negativity to the show, because this is this is a nice show and we haven't done it in a while. But I'm not currently sponsored. I think that as the number one player in the world, it's baffling to me. If anyone else was number one in the world, I'd probably be questioning the same thing and having the same thoughts. So this isn't just about me. This is about the sport in general. It's disheartening, when I spent the better half of over a decade, almost 2 decades, really, winning. That's pretty much what I've done. And, and so to be stuck in a position where I don't have a sponsor and, it's a little frustrating. It's a little, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my feelings hurt a little bit. There's a certain loyalty. There's a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? I developed a great relationship personally with Mike Martinez and also a business relationship. And so, this is one of the unfortunate things about like the whole COVID situation is, there's, some kind of in between stuff where really the bottom line is that ProKennex doesn't feel like they need to pay me through the situation of COVID. And I understand that's a difficult situation. Every situation was also different state to state. And so, all I can say is that through me not being able to play the IRT, I felt like I did a very good job of still trying to promote ProKennex and still try to, do my best to, the weight that I have on my shoulders as the number one player. I don't think people understand that sometimes. Another gentleman on this call right now I'm looking at knows what I'm talking about. So, it's tough, it's really tough, right? Because, it's a business, but also too, you establish these personal relationships and it's really tough to kind of divide the two. And, right now it's kind of like a little bit of both. I take offense to it personally and I take offense to it, professionally too, because I think that no one can really question what I've done as far as performance wise. And so it is frustrating. And, I'm pretty level headed when it comes to things. And I believe anyways. And so it's just frustrating to be stuck in this position when I don't really feel that I should be in this position. And I feel like there should be, out of the loyalty and everything, there should be something that's kind of worked out or a happy medium where, I mean, I would love to be sponsored currently right now. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have a problem signing a contract with ProKennex right now. The problem is that, again, ProKennex just feels the need to not, or feels the reason to not pay me through COVID. And I think I disagree with that based on longevity. I mean, I've been loyal. I've had companies throughout my time ask me to come and I've taken less money to be with ProKennex. During my contract, I've taken less money. And this is more like now getting on like the personal side of it. I did it because, obviously I want to do it for my company, and I thought it was in the best interest of my company to help them prosper. And at the same time, I'm building this, this relationship on the side, this personal relationship on the side too, earning someone's loyalty and trust. And, that's not given, as you guys know, and so going through all that and being stuck in this position is kind of really frustrating. So sorry to kind of ramble on, but it's just kind of frustrating for me.
Yeah, don't be sorry, Kane. You and I talk a lot about that. We share a lot of the same feelings on where we're at. And for the racquetball community, it is a grind. Kane touched on a lot of things there. Greatest player of all time, and arguably one of the greatest athletes in the history of any sport. And yeah, we work our asses off to pay the bills, and it's our choice. It's not, but at the end of the day, it is difficult sometimes, and it gets tiring and exhausting, Kane. And, we've talked about this, where there was a time I went through a very dark, moment with the sport, and I left. I was gone for 10 years, and I've asked you, and I'll ask you, because I want people to know, I felt like, not like they owed me anything, but we talk about it, right? Like, we're looking for flights, and we're like, well, what's the cheapest one? And meanwhile, we're joking, saying, shouldn't we have our own private jets when we see, Roger Federer sign at 300 million? And we get it. We understand that. We're realistic. We know, yeah, but we do hate the saying, oh, well, it's racquetball. And I think that's part of the problem, that, there's so much of, well, it's racquetball. Well, then, yeah, everybody's going to kind of keep it there. But Kane, do you still love to play? Does Kane Waselenchuk, that feeling? Do you love to go play and compete and play racquetball right now?
That's really just a loaded question. It really is. I mean, it's, for me to go into the court currently right now, based on my situation, and take it seriously, it's kind of hard. I think that, Suds, you and I had a great conversation the other day, where I had mentioned that, if you look at the history of racquetball, one of the really unfortunate parts about racquetball is, like, if you look at all the greatest players, right? So, you take guys like myself and you and Cliff and Marty, and, let's take Yellen too, which, that's another guy that, isn't really mentioned a lot. And, there's a few guys you could throw in there, after that, right? But if you look at the history of the greatest players, or at the time, the greatest players, or the number one players at the time, if you ever notice, just maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but every single one of them ended up leaving racquetball and being gone for a substantial amount of time. And I think that one of the unfortunate parts, and I'll get back to the sponsorship part with Mike Martinez, is that, when I signed with ProKennex, one of my biggest concerns was that, after I was done playing, I really wanted to be some sort of influence in the business side of it. And, for a while there, the rackets that everybody were playing with and the shirts they were wearing, I had a part of designing that and doing that. And I really took pride and joy in that. And that was something that I really liked to do, and something that I thought would be I'd be very interested in after my career, was over. And, and if I look at, I can name 3 people off the top of my head, really, is like Andy Roberts, Big D, and Doyle, that actually went on to, like, work for the company that they kind of played for. And, and that's kind of what my vision was. But if you look at all the greatest players to come along, they all left the sport and actually were disgruntled at some point too, and I mean, listen, I mean, that's a tough conversation, but like Yellen won 5 world titles, and who's heard from Yellen in the last 20 years? I mean, and Marty left at one point, Cliff left at one point, you left at one point. I mean, and I think that, that's very unfortunate, and that's very detrimental to our sport. If you look at other sports, football, basketball, they all get involved in some point, and being having the perspective of being a player and also knowing the business I think is a huge advantage. I think it's a big advantage. And it's just one of those, things that I sit back and I just think that it's very unfortunate. I sit here now, with all the work that I put in to help build ProKennex and do what I did. And here I sit without a contract, where my vision is that I wanted to be a part of the company. Like the truth is that I wanted Mike Martinez to take a step back and be able to retire and do whatever he wanted to do, and have me step into the place and do what he did and what needed to be done for ProKennex to flourish. And that was kind of my vision. And so, yeah, it is disheartening to be sitting in this position, questioning, whether or not I want to play, whether or not, I even want to play with ProKennex. I love ProKennex. I mean, that's a big chunk of my career, and so, I don't want it to sound like, I'm bashing Mike Martinez, or I'm not. It's a business. And I think a lot of people have to understand that it's a business. And sometimes you have to have these difficult conversations, so do I miss playing? You know what? Yeah, I miss kicking ass. Yeah, I do. I do. It's a good feeling no matter what, whether I won my first one, well, maybe not my first one, but whether I won my second or third or my 120th, when the final ball bounces twice, or I roll out the ball, whatever it is, sure feels good still. So, it's been a long time since I felt that. And, it's something that's flows through my veins, since I was 5 years old. So, do I miss it? Yeah. Do I have to treat it as a business? Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't play for free. That's just how it goes. It's just a difficult situation. So, but, overall, I think that everything will work itself out in the end. And I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of people along the way that have reached out to me to help me. Obviously, Keith Miner being a big one of them. I never hide that, obviously, that, he, even through the whole COVID thing, I think that he deserves the recognition that, he really did help my family, not just me to get to Vegas and do all that stuff, but he really just helped my family in a time that really I maybe a lot of people don't want to admit it or whatever, but, I was struggling. A lot of people were struggling, and whether you want to show it or not is up to you, but I was struggling, and I was fortunate enough to have someone like that step up and help me out. So I'm pretty blessed in the way that, racquetball, I've made a lot of relationships, a lot of good relationships. And for those people to step up and offer is quite admirable, but, I got to have it in my heart to do it,
So going forward with you, will we see you in Chicago, and will we see you at the US Open?
You will see me at the US Open. Yes, I will be at the US Open.
I know that was a dumb question, but the US Open part, but what about Chicago?
It's kind of still up in the air right now. I've kind of dabbled in maybe just playing doubles. To be totally honest with you, I really don't care where I'm ranked going into the US Open. I don't,
It's your tournament.
Yeah.
It's your tournament.
Whether I've been ranked I've had a lot of different rankings in the US Open and won them all. So I'm okay.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody else will care, but yeah, it's so true. They'll be like, wait, where is he? What is he doing? Yeah, it sucks, hearing that. I mean, that's the thing too, Kane, we talk about it, and it's important for the fans to know. I'm seeing some comments, oh, sign with this company, sign with that company. It's not about that. The economics are they just can't afford him. They can't. And Leo, I know one of our topics is pro contracts later when we let Kane go, so I'll save some of it.
No, I'm staying for all that. I'm staying for all that. Sorry, you're not getting it.
At the end of the day, you're not going to get what you deserve, and that sucks. And
yeah, but let's be real about this. When I signed up, if it was really about the money, I mean, we have this kind of interesting conversation about like, it's not about the money, but it is about the money, right? But like, listen, I knew what I was signing up for. Right. I knew when I decided, instead of pursuing hockey in opposed to racquetball, I knew I wasn't going to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Really, I never really had that vision. Right. but it was just something that I was passionate about. I loved it, and I can make a great living at it, you know? So that's just me.
But it was different because I was there too, signing, not married, no kids, no family. Fast forward, and it's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, let's be honest. You and I have
Yeah.
this conversation. Is there a
Mhm.
day that we're just filling out a resume and handing it to the amazing relationships we've made because of racquetball? Saying full-time job isn't, it's something that might have to be discussed, and we don't want to
Yeah.
even think about it. We'll leave those conversations for private, the ones we have. But like, yeah, those are some of the things. And I agree with you. There was a time Ellie always jokes with me. I'm like, it's not about the money. I don't care. I'm playing for the love of the game. And that kind of changes with time and relationships in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very, very valid point. I think that's a great point. But it's like one of those like scary conversations, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that we both do that a lot of people
Terrifying.
don't even know that we do for free and that we just love to do. I mean, that just, and then there are stuff that we do and we do expect to get paid for it. So, it's kind of a delicate conversation, right? It's like you could be thrown into your face like, oh, well, you say you do it for the love of the game, but yet you want to be paid. It's like, well, yeah, but I mean, listen, I mean, in any sport, LeBron, whoever, Tiger, they're all in the same position. I mean, and so it's a difficult position to be in for sure.
Let me ask you this, and keep, not to keep harping on the sponsorship thing, but will this keep you from playing more pro tournaments in the 2022 schedule when it comes out?
Well, I mean, of course, yeah. I mean, you got to understand I have expenses, and there's another side of this too as well that is very delicate, as well, as that like for the last better half of probably 10 years, I mean, it's a big deal when I'm not at a tournament, maybe not Denver, because I didn't hear anything about me not being there. So maybe it's not a big deal anymore. Last time I checked, I was still the number one player, but yeah, I mean, it's, I don't think a lot of people understand that, if I spend $1,500 to get to the tournament, when I win 3,000, I'm not taking home 3,000. And I think that, that's the business sense that kicks in, and again, very, very difficult, very difficult situation. Throughout the years, I've been separated from the rest of the pack in that way, as far as like the importance of me being at a tournament. And so I think that that adds value into that. So there's that part that, and listen, would I be sitting here saying the same thing if I hadn't went through better half of 10 years of, telling sponsors, and all this, we're not going to have the tournament next year. We're not this, we're not that. But I mean, that's rough to hear when, my heart breaks when I hear that stuff. Right. And then I already feel like I put enough weight on myself as far as how I carry my position. And then to hear that, that's a very difficult situation to be in for a player and just really just a person in general. It's just tough, it's just a tough situation. And then, when you feel like if that's the case and it's not happening to anyone else, you do feel like, well, maybe I need to stand up for myself. And maybe if that's the case, maybe since you're separating me, I'm not separating myself. You're separating me by, saying what you're saying, and that, you're not going to have the tournament next year if I don't show up, and this and that and whatever else. That adds value to me. And then that separates myself from everybody else, on top of already separating myself with winning and all that kind of stuff. Listen, I got nothing to gain. What do I have to gain other than a $3,400 check to go to Chicago? What do I have to gain? Nothing. I don't have anything to gain. So this year, if I play and I win my 15th title, what? Now I'm the greatest. I've fulfilled my career. I've reached the pinnacle. Like, I mean, let's be real here, right? So, you got to understand, on the flip side of it, right? I go to a tournament and I'm not ready and I lose. Guess what? Nobody is ever going to talk about nothing but the fact of who that person beat, and it would be me. It doesn't matter. And for the rest of that person's career, that person will forever be remembered as the person who beat Kane Waselenchuk, because I haven't lost in a long time. So again, right? Like, look, I mean, listen, this is like something I kind of brought on myself, unfortunately, small part of it. It's like winning as much as I have. The next person to beat me is going to be a big deal. That's going to be a big deal. And whenever I even have a close match, that's a big deal.
I know you've won so many, but it would be 16, not 15.
Well, I mean, number one titles.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about U.S. Opens.
No, number one titles.
And just to add to that too, you talked about all of this. This is your profession. This is your career. This is what people, other people get up and they have a job and they have to go provide not only for themselves but their family. How hard has that been for you, knowing that you have a family? Most people think it's just you. It's not just you. You have a family.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have a full-blown family. I have 4 kids, 4 almost teenage kids. So it's difficult. I'm obviously very thankful for Allie. Obviously, she's helped out a lot, in this time, but yeah, no, it's been difficult. It's not to get too personal, but I used to have a retirement. I don't have a retirement anymore. So that's kind of the difficult things. And I think that overall, I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about it and being honest about it. I think that there's something to be said about just being transparent and being honest about it. And so yeah, it's been difficult. I'm sure that in the eyes of some people, number one, 15 years, what does he have to worry about? I'm sure he's all good, this and that. But I mean, listen, I have my struggles too. And, COVID hit me just as bad. I mean, remember, that, the shutdown and all that kind of stuff, plus the sponsorship stuff. I mean, it all adds up, but just like everybody, right? You just got to keep a positive attitude, keep, pressing forward. And that's really all you can do,
Yeah, we stay positive, but we got to keep it real, and that's how we get better. Just like you've done your entire career, you analyze and pick out what you can do better, what needs to be fixed, and you and I are doing a lot of good things, working our asses off, trying to make the experience a success, and it's been great.
Yeah,
yeah.
Speaking of that, I not that we were gonna talk about it, maybe we were, maybe we weren't, but I guess I'll just start it. I've obviously looked, saw a lot of comments as far as Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And I think that, some of those comments, I look at, it kind of really bothers me, because, suds, they don't hear the behind the scenes conversations that we have. And, the whole experience thing was based on one thing and one thing only. And it wasn't about us getting paid. Yes, we wanted to make money, but it wasn't about us getting paid. It was about, trying to add some sort of excitement to racquetball at a time where there really wasn't anything to look forward to, and, I sit and I watch, I look at Facebook and, and I read some of the comments, and it's very disheartening sometimes, like the vision that we had was, and whether it happens or not, but the vision that we had was to bring in younger kids as well. So one of the things that a lot of people don't know is, what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring in some of the younger pros so that way we could add some clout to them and some notoriety to them. And that's why we had the exhibitions. We had Landa in Austin, and we had the juniors, but that's where we brainstormed and we're like, listen, we want to get some of these young guys, like the Portillos and all those guys, get them to the experience and have this, and hopefully have sponsors step up, and we play this exhibition match, but it's much more than just an exhibition match. These people, because we're accepting, because of who we are and what we've accomplished, and the respect that comes with that, we invite these younger kids, and then these younger kids, right, get the immediate notoriety because the other people go, well, the ballers go, well, I mean, obviously they're with Sudsy and Kane, and they're inviting them, and and so that builds their clout, right, and that builds their notoriety, and then people get to know them on a different level. Let's not get it twisted. The reason why I'm so popular is because I won. It wasn't because it wasn't like people, the IRT and all them, they went out and promoted me. That's not what happened. I've developed my clout from winning. That's why I have kind of, I don't know what you would call it, aura or whatever you want to call it, right? And until somebody comes along and does that, that's just those kids are going to struggle to get the notoriety and the clout, so to speak, of, you know, and that popularity of people wanting to see them play. They want to see me play because why? Because two reasons. They either want to see me win again or lose. That's it. That's it. You know? And I think that, you know, so, you know, not, again, I'm kind of rambling, but like, that's one of the reasons why we put the experience together. And so, you know, reading some of those comments is kind of like, you know, and so I thought, you know, it's kind of off topic, but I kind of felt it important to kind of throw that out there.
Yeah, I know. You and I, one thing that a lot don't know about us is, yeah, we have feelings, you know, we actually care about what people think and say. And
well, I don't
and,
claim
you know,
that though. I don't publicly claim
well,
that though.
I'm admitting it for us right now. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, you know, it's funny. You see some things and right, like, you know, somebody had said something and yeah, you want to comment, you know, you fight back, but it's good to just kind of avoid it and be above it, you know, but at the end of the day, yeah, I'll say to somebody, well, hey, if you know, let's say you own a restaurant, can I just come eat for free? You know, if you're a dentist, can you do my teeth for free? And yeah, there's some people that are out there, but guess what? You and I are doing that too. Like, we let kids come in for free and others come in, but that's besides the point. It's not about us. You know, we gotta keep moving forward and doing what we can. And Leo, I know you got some stuff here before we move on.
No, I just, you know, I agree. You know, I try not to listen to the noise, because how can you argue or say anything about two of, you know, the best, the greatest, you know, in together, even it's not separate, it's together. So, you know, whatever people say on the outside, I just saw a comment from a couple people, one in particular from Cyrus, who said Kane Waselenchuk and Sudsy Monchik, the experience was worth the money no matter what people think. So, you know, I try not to listen too much to the noise, and I hope you guys don't either. I know you guys are very passionate about what you do. I know you guys are used to the noise, because, you know, when you're sitting at the top, you know, the air is a little bit different. But, you know, thank you guys for addressing that. Maybe Kane wants to sit around and keep it going with us on the top 10 rapid fire we got going on. What do you think, Kane? You want to stick around?
I'm okay. Is it okay with you, Suds? Is it okay with you?
I'm not the one to ask. You know, we got to ask Scotty Mack, because right now Scotty, can you make it happen? Put him up. Let's go.
Are we really going to let Scotty make the call? I mean, how many bad calls does he have to make before we cut him off of this?
All right. Well, Leo, you're running the show here. Let's get through it when Scotty puts up the top 10, and let's see what everybody, you know.
Yeah, so what we're going to do tonight, while he's setting it up, is we are decided tonight we would just do 10 tonight. Hopefully after tonight it'll go better, and we'll do it every single night or every single show. We've got 10 hot topics in the sport. It's going to be a rapid fire thing. All right, we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock for each topic. I'm going to read the topic. I'm going to briefly go into it. And then we'll hear a little bit, you know, from Suds, and then if it's okay with Suds, we'll hear a little bit from Kane. All right, here we go. Hot topic number 1: mask mandates across 7 states. Illinois is the latest state to add a mask mandate to indoors, joining Louisiana, Hawaii, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, Washington State, and the District of Columbia. There's tournaments coming up in New Mexico and Illinois. I was contacted by someone today because they're upset because they withdrew from the New Mexico event. And now the event staff is saying that the mask mandate will be loosely enforced. How do you think this is going to affect tournaments and even non-tournament play going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into the politics of masks, no masks. I had a vicious bout with COVID, but I'll tell you this, and I also got a message today from a 74-year-old gentleman saying he's going out to New Mexico and he's not happy because they are enforcing a mask mandate. I'm speaking for me personally. There's no way I would ever play with a mask on the court, that would absolutely force me to not be able to compete or play racquetball, and that would suck. You know, that's just personally how I feel from the research I've done, healthy, not healthy. I respect everybody's opinion. I respect where you stand, but I think it would be just a massive ultimate and another blow to our sport. Kane?
Yeah, I mean, I think a very difficult situation, obviously. You know, if I had to play with a mask on, I would definitely be pulling out of the tournament as well too. You know, very, very touchy subject, obviously. But I think that it should be based on overall, you know, what you feel your safety is, you know, and so yeah, just really, really difficult. And you know, you just, I don't know, follow the rules. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Well, we'll see. You know, I mean, like I said, we got a tournament. We got a couple tournaments coming up. We got Chicago coming up. You know, we'll see if they're going to enforce it there for indoor. They may let people take it off during matches, but New Mexico, they may be a little looser with it. So, you know, we'll see. All right, look at that. We stayed under our first topic under 2 minutes. We're cooking. All right, hot topic number 2. This is an interesting one. So I'll be interested to hear your take on it. The Pan Ams. On August the 6th, USA Racquetball announced that they would not be sending our U.S. national team to the Pan Am Racquetball Championships in September. But 2 weeks later, the Pan American Racquetball Confederation and the Bolivian Federation announced the suspension of the Pan Ams until April 2022. So I'm a little bit confused on the dates. Who said it first? Who decided when? There were rumors that it was known even before USA Racquetball decided. So what's the feeling amongst U.S. team members and players from other countries when this news was announced?
Yeah, I think it's not shocking at all. I think that, you know, first off, there's 2 types of Pan Ams. There's the Pan Am Championships, which happens every year. There's the Pan Am Games, which happens every 4 years. This Pan Am Championships, which was scheduled for Bolivia, you know, there's no secret to a lot of people that had any clue as to what goes on behind the scenes. There's no way that event was ever going to happen on time. Sorry to blow it up, but, you know, it was pretty evident, pretty obvious with what was going on. There, you know, to say that that tournament was going to happen, I think is a little bit irresponsible. I know people want to keep it hot and energetic and give everybody a reason to go get out and get on the court and go compete in a national qualifier. I get it. You know, we got to keep racquetball going, but not shocking at all. If you asked me, I would have probably told you in May or June that Pan Am's was not going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think really the unfortunate part when you look back on it is really the fact that you had a lot of athletes going and competing for something that wasn't really going to be there. And I think that, you know, you look at the hard times and whatever else, and, you know, people, that's extra money that people didn't really need to spend, but very unfortunate situation nonetheless.
Well,
Well said right there, Ken.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. We'll see. You know, they said Pan Am's 2022, so, you know, we'll hold our breath and we'll wait for April of 2022. All right, let's roll on our next hot topic. Topic number 3. The Scotty Mac. There it is. The USAR national schedule for 2022. This is a hot topic. Connor Shane recently announced on the Real Racquetball show on August the 2nd that the 2022 national doubles would be returning to Tempe, Arizona, which is great news. And then he's working on dates for the remaining events. You know, I'm just hoping that, you know, in 2022, we can find some normalcy. But I'm still kind of concerned about the landscape and the environments that we may have to adapt to. You know, what do you guys think will be the biggest challenges for USAR in 2022 for their national events?
I mean, you know, these things are changing daily. You know, it's pretty cool. Hey, for the record, by the way, Leo, I actually named that show Real Racquetball, just FYI. But, you know, I think they're always going to have a challenge now. These things change every day. Now I'm seeing that you get 2 vaccines, that's not enough. You need a 3rd. So who knows what's going to happen, right? Hopefully the leadership is intact. Hopefully we're making good decisions. Hopefully we're planning for all of this. Hopefully it's not one of those, oh, well, we didn't expect this, right? Like, let's be real, everybody. You can't blame COVID anymore. Like, enough of that. If you know COVID might be the issue, well, then plan that it might be an issue. I mean, can we just keep saying, oh, well, COVID, Oh, well, COVID. Oh, well, COVID. Like, okay, well, somebody plan for it then.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see. I like hearing that's going back to Tempe. I've always liked the fact of having doubles and singles separate for U.S. nationals. I always thought that was kind of that was cool. Yeah, but you just gotta live it one day at a time. And I agree with you, Suds. I mean, at this point, like you actually got to plan for the worst and hope for the best, really.
It just baffles me, Kane, because that's what everybody, right? It's like, oh, COVID, oh, COVID. So wait a second. If we're going to plan something, then let's make sure that we take something off the table. So if
Yeah.
we know that this may come and hit us in the face again, kind of shame on us, right? Where's the accountability and the responsibility? I'll tell you this, if it's in Tempe in February and I don't get another variant of COVID, I will play with Alex Landa. All right.
There you go. All right. Hot
And I'll
topic.
be there too because I like Tempe. So there you go. There, I'll go.
I thought it was Alex and I that you like.
Well, and that too.
We'll do an
And,
experience.
I mean, and that
you know
too.
what?
And that's
Maybe we'll do an experience. All right. Go ahead. We're
right.
moving. We got to move along. We're doing
Hot
good.
topic number 4. Timer already started. We're getting shorted out here. Recent emails from the U.S. Open indicate that the main host hotel, the Embassy Suites downtown, has sold out of the discount hotel room blocks. Less than 20 remain at the Hampton Inn, a good indication that players and fans are planning to attend this year. Also, the Gold Box, courtside tables, and seats are all sold out. I was informed by Doug Gannon that he will be adding more seating. I'm super excited about this news. I don't want to gauge your guys' level on the level of excitement and how you think the event's going to go this year.
I speak to Dougie Fresh Ganem often. He's told me his words. I've never seen anything like this. I think he's pretty excited. I think that the racquetball world in general, we're just jumping out of our skin to do something. So I think that there's a lot of booking going on, but I got to be honest, I'm not super confident that it's going to stay this way because, again, what if something changes, right? Like, what if tomorrow? And I could tell you this, that I've heard if there is a mask mandate on court, that's the only way the U.S. Open would get canceled. So I would say book your rooms, book your flights. You can get refunded. Make sure you're there. Watch this guy go win his 16th as long as it happens. He won't do it with a mask on. But with that said, I think it's great. I think people really want to get out and do something. So hopefully it goes without another hitch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfectly said. I mean, I think that it's exciting, to hear that stuff. People want to get out. I think people are ready to get out and live life again and have life somewhat, whatever the new normal is. We're kind of in a limbo right now, trying to figure it out. But it's exciting. It's exciting for the racquetball community as well too. Obviously, one of the questions that I would say is about the safety. I hear mixed things about what's going on there. So that's kind of one of the things, just to in the back of my mind that I think about, like I'd like to bring my kids. I don't know what's happening in the future, so I'd like to bring my kids, whatever else. And it's a kind of a tough decision, but really excited. I think that people, are ready to get out.
All right, we're at the halfway point. Hot topic number 5, the Denver recap. Jim Heiser hosted the World Singles and Doubles Open Championships. He had nearly 300 players, 10 countries. The LPRT, the IRT were both there streaming. Gaby Martinez won her first event. Daniel won his 5th. I thought Heiser and his crew did an amazing job. It could be the second highest participant event this year next to the U.S. Open. And this is a hot topic because of the excitement that it generated and the number of players that entered. Sudsy, what do you think?
I think it was a great tournament. I think Heis did a great job. I think a blaring something that was missing was obviously Kane not being there. Also Paola not being there, the 2 best players in the world. Obviously, arguably the 2 best in the history of our sport not being at that event. And it was such a great event. You had the mixed pro doubles, you have this men's singles, the women's singles. I think it'd be cool to add a little bit of a pro doubles in there next time as well. But again, he pulled it off. I'm not sure where Denver's at with the mask mandates or not. I wasn't there. I wish I could have been there. He did a great job. and it did it. It kind of looks like a mini U.S. Open, but not surprising with Heiser because he's a big part of running the main U.S. Open. He's on Doug's team. He's kind of Doug's right-hand man. If you ever see Doug Ganem at the U.S. Open, Jim Heiser's not far behind or to his side. He's always doing a lot. He's learned the right way to do it and the right way to present an event to fans and players. But again, I think the two or three biggest things missing was no Kane, no Paola, and no me. Would have been nice to have been there. I was supposed to play mixed doubles with Paola.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, you could also throw in the Longhorn tournament as well too with all that, you know. I think that you could, you know, with Soli putting the tournament together in Austin here and looked like it was a great tournament. Again, you know, strictly a business decision for me, but it looked really awesome. Obviously, Heiser, you know, I've known Heiser for a long time. Obviously, you know, he knows how to put on a tournament. He's been around and you know, it looked good. And obviously, congratulations to Daniel and Gabby. Obviously, you know, for Gabby, it's pretty big. I mean, the winning your first one. I mean, you know, I'll tell you, you know, the only thing that I have to say to Gabby was the same thing that Suds, you know, came up to me and said to me when I won my first one in Chicago. He said, "Welcome to the club."
That's right.
Nice.
That's
So,
right.
Special
Gabby,
club.
so Gabby, welcome to the club.
There you go.
All right.
All right, number 6, hot topic. The IRT and the LPRT tour schedule in 2022. So I got on the website, I looked it up. The IRT had 18 dates on their website, but they listed everything from tier 5s to tier 4s to tier 1s to Grand Slams. The LPRT had 9 dates, but they only do tier 1s and Grand Slams. They didn't have any lower tier events. I know we're a little early looking into 2022, but I sure hope that both tours can provide a healthy schedule of events for the fans in person. And of course, you know, the streaming is a global reach. Will we see more of the same or less of professional events in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, we're both hoping, all of us, anybody that truly cares about the sport. I think that the professional tours are the ones that really excite the sport. You know, look at any sport. It really, you know, why do you play golf? Because you look at the PGA. We don't play we don't play football, but we watch NFL. You know, I'm watching my Yankees every night, but I'm not playing MLB. I think the guiding force and the energy behind any sport are the pro tours. I wish nothing but the best for IRT, LPRT. I know Mike Gibbs and his crew, they're working hard to make things happen. But let's face it, they can't keep throwing their own money into it. You know, like enough of that. As far as the LPRT is concerned, first time hearing this. I know, Kane, you know this, Leo, I'm not sure if you do, but Veronica and I are set on hosting an LPRT event here in Vero Beach in March of 2022. So if you'd like to be a sponsor, reach out and, you know, contact us. That's true. You know, we want to bring the ladies out here. We think they're doing awesome. And then hopefully that builds into bringing the men out as well. And whether Kane's playing or not in that event, he will be at the Vero Beach Pro Stop, maybe just hanging out with me and fishing.
I will be?
Yeah, you will be.
Okay, I will be. I will be. No, I think, you know, I think that overall, you know, I think that, you know, I took a little glance as well at the schedule. You know, I guess what concerns me is, you know, how many of them have all the money and how many of them, you know, I mean, you know, as well as I do, Suds, that in the history of it doesn't matter who was running the IRT, and this is not a knock on anybody that ran the IRT, Hank, Dave, Jade, none of that. But you always have like 18 dates, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you got 12 tournaments. You know,
Right.
So I mean, I'm not saying it's a knock.
No,
I'm not
it's the
saying
truth.
To knock
It's the
anybody. I'm
truth.
really not.
Yeah.
I swear I'm not.
No.
You know,
Things
But-
things happen. Yeah.
things happen, and so if you look at 18, I would plan for probably 10 to 12 of them. You know, that's what I would plan. But again, you know, it's like we go back to the one thing is that, you know, it's hard when state to state is all different, right? Like one, you have to wear a mask, you don't have to wear a mask. You can do this, you can't do that. Like it's very hard to be able to plan, you know, a whole season. So hopefully everything in 2022 comes together and, you know, and enables, you know, racquetball to have full schedule on both the women's and the men's tour.
Awesome. All right. Keeping it rolling here. And before we move on to the next topic, I just want to let everybody know that's in the chat that we're looking at the comments. We picked 10 hot topics for the first show tonight, and we see some other hot topics that you guys have put in the comments. So we'll do those in the next Beyond the Court. So don't think that your comments don't go unnoticed. Hot topic number 7, everybody's favorite, the US Open in 2022. The USAR and Connor Shane, the National Events Director, will continue to host the US Open going forward. There's a lot of moving parts to hosting an event of this size, securing sponsorship agreements, setting it up, the VIP hospitality, the volunteers, the staff, the portable court setup, the facilities, the shuttle service, media, marketing, event management, breakdown. I hope that we can continue the tradition of the greatest tournament that the sport has ever had, next to maybe the Nationals in Houston. Is there a crystal ball that we can look into? And what does it say for the US Open in 2022?
It says good luck without Doug Ganem. I mean, Doug Ganem's the only one that's been able to pull this off for 25 years. You touched on it earlier that Jim Heiser is somebody that pulls off like a mini one, and there's some mini ones scattered here and there. But, it depends on Doug's involvement. Quite frankly, anybody that's going to try to replicate the US Open that we've seen for the last 25 years, I really hope they've been working side by side with Doug over the last 4 or 5 years, because you're not going to be able to, to sign new contracts, get new vendors. I mean, we're seeing issues this year with labor to put up the bleachers. We keep getting those emails, right, about, hey, if anybody wants to volunteer, there's companies that just don't have the labor to help. It's a huge operation. I know Doug, since he started, for many, many years. And I can tell you, he works all year round on the event. He's in Minneapolis for weeks at a time. And, if USAR can pull it off, awesome. It's good for racquetball. We can't lose it. I hope it looks the same, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think the two things that come to my mind is that, Connor, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has a huge advantage. I mean, he's getting handed a successful product. Where I think that where a lot of people probably don't understand what might be difficult is Doug's developed this rapport with all these sponsors and all these, people, and he has a relationship with them. And again, we go back to the personal and business, and, so, the real question, in my opinion, is, will Connor be able to fill the position of Doug and be able to build the same rapport, if not a better rapport, with those same people to continue it on and go on? The main advantage that I think that he has is based on the fact that he is given a successful product, and that we know that works. He's got a little bit of big shoes to fill, for sure. But I think that the rapport with all the sponsors and all that kind of stuff, I think that's really going to be the most important thing.
Great points. All right, moving along. Number 8, hot topic ideas for marketing the sport. Racquetball Canada recently posted on their Facebook and their Instagram their unveiling of an inflatable portable court. It looked like a bouncy house setup. Looked really easy. They said they had 8 of them. They're a little smaller in size, so they kind of look primarily for like kids and beginners, which is perfect. You can't have a pro match on there, but I want one. And I was curious to see how much interest this could generate for the development by taking the court out in public places.
I love it. I saw it. I already contacted Racquetball Canada and wanted to initiate some conversation on how can we get 1 or 2 of those. You put racquetball in people's faces, whether it's online, whether it's your license plate of your car. The more people that see it, the more people that talk about it, the better. Hopefully our leadership and decision makers are doing the right thing and focused on putting energy into promoting the sport and not promoting agendas. Let's get the sport out there. I see so much about indoor, outdoor. Hey, we love outdoor racquetball. Like, enough of this nonsense. We're all in. Kane and I, anybody, we'll go play outdoor racquetball. Put a rack in our hand and a ball, and we're all for it. Where are the leaders? Who is supposed to do that? There's only so much we can do, but we'll do everything we can to help it. We'll do everything we can to promote the sport, indoor or outdoor. Mike, Coulter in Vegas runs an incredible event. I know Kane and I both want to go back to it. We love outdoor racquetball. It's funny because I see about promoting indoor, outdoor. Hey, let's just promote racquetball, and then hopefully some good things will happen.
Well, a couple things come to mind. It is not surprising that Racquetball Canada came up with an inflatable, seeing as it's like 9 months, it's freezing cold in Canada. So it would, if anybody would have came up with it, would have been Racquetball Canada. So I mean, I think it's a great idea. I saw the post as well too. Kind of like Sud said, just getting it out there and racquetball everywhere, being able to blow that up and have a couple kids hitting and doing whatever. I think it's a great idea, but it does not surprise me that it came from a place like Canada.
Well said, eh?
Spoken like a true Canuck.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Hats off to Canada for that. All right, number 9 in our hot topics, current pro sponsorships. I know we touched on it a little bit, but most of us that follow professional racquetball know that sponsorships are not as lucrative as they were in the past. Looking at the top pro players sponsored by Head, Gearbox, and Pro Kennex, I just wonder how much longer they can continue to do it as a profession full time, which is what the tours need to exist. I don't know if some of the people out there that tuned in late, but even our guest tonight, Kane Waselenchuk, is not even sponsored by any of the racquetball manufacturers. So, Sudsy?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, not too long before we got on the show tonight, I was talking to Alex Landa, and he has a full-time job. And a lot of these younger guys are looking already at full-time jobs. What I do want people to understand, though, is that it's not solely in the responsibility of the brands and the companies, because if they're not selling rackets and the economics just isn't there like it once was, where we may say we have to pay this one, that one, and this one, it just might not be there. So I actually ask them, what are you doing who isn't getting paid? Kane's doing everything he can, and what more can he do right now, right? To not get paid. And to touch on what he said earlier, without a couple of people, like Randy Root or Mike Courier and Performance Chemicals, and Kane and I working together doing these experiences, I might not be involved in racquetball either. As a father with kids, I'll never forget somebody that we mentioned a few times in this conversation when racquetball was really good, Doug Gannum. He told me, he said, you better go get a job and get a resume, because it's just not going to be there forever. And I'm not ready to let it go, and I'm not ready to leave it yet.
Yeah, I'm still fighting that one too as well. I don't want to believe it. I think a big part of it is, that I never ever envisioned me, going down as, the greatest to ever play in the demise of racquetball. The whole pro sponsorship thing, honestly, 2 minutes isn't even long enough to really talk about it. There's a lot of factors, I think, that factor into the fact of devaluing a sponsorship in racquetball and what's happened. So, it's a very long conversation. It's a difficult situation. I think that, just like anything, right? Like, it's hard, right? Because the cost of living continues to go up, but yet, it seems like the contracts continue to go down. And, everybody's different, but what's that point where you sit back and you say, I actually got to look at something different? And, unfortunately, there potentially is some really great athletes that aren't going to be able to, show off their skill set and all that because of the difficult situation. So, tough situation. And listen, I mean, it doesn't get any better in the fact that the #1 player in the world doesn't have a sponsorship, because I'll tell you one thing, if I sign a contract for $15,000, don't bet on anybody else signing a contract for 30 or 40. That's just the way that it happens. That's the demographics of it. So, it's a scary conversation, but, hopefully we can turn it around.
Yeah, and Leo, I want to touch on that too, because I am super passionate about it. I was talking to a USAR board member about it. They said your passion is so obvious, and what people don't get is that, yeah, this is how we pay our bills. This is our work. This is what we do. So when people are making decisions, whether it's companies or organizations, it matters to us if they're making what we may think is good or bad, and that does. It matters to how we, move along and what comes up the next day for us as we decide, is this where we're going to be? And I could tell you, definitely speaking for myself, and Kane touched on earlier, without a few, really generous, amazing, helpful individuals, I don't even know if we'd be sitting here right now at this moment. But, thank God I see the next topic. Kane and I tried to put something together that maybe will help us all.
That's right. Number 10, the experience, our last hot topic of the night. The Kane and Sudsy experiences have been a hit so far. In fact, really quick, I love the new website. I don't know if you've made it official yet, but it makes it so much easier to find info out now. You go to www.kaneandsudsy.com. I see that next up is October the 4th, the one-day experience before the US Open. I saw November the 5th in Dallas. You got San Antonio, Naples, Vero Beach, Austin, Atlanta. what has been the experience so far in hosting these experiences? And how many will you and Kane be doing in 2022?
You know, they've been amazing. Kane and I, we set off on this vision. We built this experience together. Everything we do, every decision is together. And we really did. We built it to make something exciting for the sport, be able to include everyone. You know, we didn't care if it was you were a beginner or, you know, the second best player in the world in this case, because obviously Kane was already going to be there. But, you know, we're having fun with it and we're adjusting, we're learning. So it's definitely something we're learning from. And, you know, we just created and changed and added a little bit something to the experience, which Kane, I'll let you talk about, because we're finding great success with it. Like you said, Leo, we're not going to listen to the noise. We know what we bring to the table. We know what it's like when you're there. We know the feedback. And quite honestly, we don't really hear much negative. It just seems that, you know, the people that want to cry and scream the most are the ones that are negative versus the ones that just say, that was amazing. I can't wait to do it again. Imagine being able to do something with, you know, Michael Jordan and Kobe or Roger Federer and Novak, or, you know, and Kane and I don't even listen to that. We continue to stay the course. We're trying to build something that is the ultimate experience for you, any racquetball player could ever be part of. And Kane, you know, touch on a little bit about what we've added to the experience and what the Minneapolis experience is versus what a 3-day looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the reality of it is anything you do in life, you know, you're going to have the people that, you know, question it and the people that support it. That's just the way it goes, you know. And but I think one of the things, you know, that that's important to note is that, you know, we may not respond, we may not, you know, comment or do anything, but we're listening. And so one of the cool things that we're that we did, that obviously we had a conversation and we agreed that would be beneficial for, you know, obviously for the people, you know, I get it, right? You know, we're running on tough times, obviously. And you know, you know, the majority of the comments that we saw were the fact that, you know, someone, oh, that's too expensive. Oh, I can't afford it. Blah, 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 blah. You know, a lot of, you know, I personally had seen a lot of comments about how they would love to be there, but just, you know, the price was a little high. And I think that, you know, when we sat down and we talked about it originally, about the experiences, we never really, you know, we wanted it to be a special thing, right? We wanted to be like a exclusive group, right? And like, you know, but then as we kind of, the popularity and the demand and this and that, and, you know, I think that when we sat down and we talked about it, you know what, we have a 3-day experience, which is the ultimate experience, right? And that's the, you know, what we've been doing, what we did in Austin and Vero, and this is recently what we have, you know, had a conversation about, is that we want to try and make it accessible to everybody, you know. And so now we came up with offering a 1-day. So basically you get a 1-day and it's basically, you know, a 3-day kind of combined, you know, all crunched up into 1 day. You know, you don't get some of the obviously the nice bells and whistles that you get in the 3-day, but, you know, I think that, you know, for us, when we were talking, it was really important to at least give the opportunity. You're always going to have the people that question it and say, oh, well, that's great. You know, you guys went down, but I still can't afford it. And you're going to have people that say, oh, this is great. Such a great idea. You got to take all that with a grain of salt. I think that, you know, I'm very, very happy with the decision of us coming up with this 1-day and also this 3-day. I think that it gives a great option. I think that I really do think that it's a great opportunity to build the popularity of the sport, you know, and yeah, I'm excited for it, you know, and I really want to, for me personally, I don't know about you, Suds. I feel like we're pretty much on the same page with a lot of this stuff. But you know, I want somebody to be excited about coming and being okay with obviously paying that amount of money and having a good time. Like I really do. And I think that, you know, we tried to sympathize through this with the fact that not everybody can afford a 3-day experience. And so we wanted to at least give the option for people to, if they wanted to be a part of the experience, because so far we've had 2 of them, and, you know, both of them have turned out to be amazing, and you know, relationships that have been developed through it. One of the coolest things that I think through the experience that I've seen is that, you know, I go on Facebook and I look at, you know, some of the past ballers, and you know, all the past ballers are also commenting on other, you know, like you know, I'll give you an example. Like, first of all, congratulations to Alex. He was a baller in both of the ballers, so congratulations to Alex for getting married. But you know, seeing, you know, him post that stuff about his wedding, and seeing all the ballers commenting on it. I mean, listen, that's what it's about. I mean, yeah, it's nice to make money and all that, but honestly, that warms my heart. That to me is more, that to me is more valuable than really what we're getting paid. And to be honest with you, I love going on Facebook and seeing that these relationships and, you know, being made. I really like it.
Well, there is our top 10 topics. Say that fast 3 times. Hot 10 top topics. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And just to finish that up, don't forget www.kaneandsudsy.com for all the info for the experiences. And I also want to let everybody know that Sudsy and I are looking at the chat. I've already taken notes on hot topics for the next one. We got 3-wall ball. We got people that are in there wanting to know about court closures. So if you have other ideas for hot topics, put them in the chat, and we're going to do them on the next one. What do you think, Suds?
Yeah, Leo, I just want, you know, let me close it out here. Kane, thank you so much, of course, for hanging out. I know that wasn't the plan, being here the whole night, but, you know, we all appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to close right here. Thank you to all of you, Racquetball family and friends. You heard it from here. You heard it right here. Without all of you, we can't do this. We're not inspired and motivated to do it, but you keep us inspired and motivated to do it. And that's the truth. You know, we wouldn't be able to do it. We're not getting paid. We have no sponsors. Nobody's paying us. I hold a racket. You know why? Because I just think better. My brain operates better. Nobody's paying me to hold this racket. I just like that racket. I'm not sponsored either by a specific company. You know, Leo, thank you for being a special co-host tonight. Again, Kane and Gabby, thank you for being here. Scotty Mack, who we don't see in the back, always getting the job done. Thank you, Scotty Mack. My wife, Veronica, I love you. You do so much for this show and everything. You know, we really appreciate that. And, you know, to the IRT, LPRT, NMRA, IRF, if there's ever anything we could do to help you, you know, we're here. We're easy to get a hold of. Don't be afraid. Reach out, and maybe we could do something together that'll help the sport. All right. So everybody have a great night. Roll a racquetball. Stay strong, Amy. We saw you on there. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned.